I'm just looking for the local stags. Not been up for a few months, so I've not seen them. I don't know if they're in the woods or whether they've gone up to the rutting season. I've got the dogs with me as well, and even though they know better, they don't bother with them. It just kind of like limits my stealth mode to get up to the stags. So I've been tracking these stags for about a good 5 years. They're quite elusive. If you want to see a stag in the Peak District, you've only just got to go up to Big Moor, and they're everywhere. But down here, they're a bit more elusive. At first I thought there were just three stags, and I thought that for a long time. I just thought there was 3 stags, and I always thought it was really strange. But then I saw the 3 stags, and then I moved to a different location and I saw another 3 stags. And I think all in one particular day, I've seen 10 stags and a couple of roe deer in various locations. Where I am at the moment, I'm not going to tell you where I am at the moment, just to keep it private, but this is probably the most sightings I've ever seen in this location. Sometimes I'll go months and months and months and not see them, and then I'll see them 3 or 4 days on the trot. So when you're looking for the stags, it's a case of taking your time and looking for, I think it's just something that I've got used to because they're so well disguised. They're probably looking at us more than we're looking at them. So I've become a connoisseur of poo droppings, stag droppings, see how fresh they are, and trail markings to see how far it is. And they've got certain, a bit like sheep, they've got certain trails that go in, you know, although they roam all over the forest, they've got certain trails that they keep to, like motorways in between the forests that they want to get to places quickly. When I first started following them, tracking them, Cooper, there's only when I had Cooper, used to be able to smell them. I could tell by the way he was lifting his nose up in the air. He was like sniffing for the scent. Not that he was hunting them, but it's always a good telltale sign that if he could smell them before he could see them, it was always a good sign that they were in the area. So we're in late October, almost November, and this is probably, as the brackens turning brown, it's probably the most complex time to find them because they blend into the background so easily. So it's just a case of just being really quiet and just looking, slowly looking. It's a bit of a skill to find them. So also when they're rutting, obviously make that roaring mating call. So this forest is completely silent, apart from the wind. So I've come to the end of the first section where it's usually the most guaranteed place to see them, and I've covered about 1.5 kilometres, but not a thing. So I'm just going to, because it's kind of coming up to like dusk, probably an hour or so, 2 hours before sunset, and they generally go out into the open fields, into the farmland, to do a bit of grazing. So we'll have a look up there. Today's video is really just to scout the area, to see where they are, and so that I can come back and do a proper, I can't get through the gate, trying to do things with one hand. Oh my days. Yeah, so this field, usually late on in the day they'll come out here and do some grazing, but there's just a few farm animals. A lot of the does congregate around here, spend most of the time grazing, and the stags are down in the woods, but there's just nothing here at all. So tomorrow I think we'll cover this side of the forest, because I don't think there's anything this side on the side I've just explored. It looks like a big daunting expense of land and a needle in a haystack, but I know every single path in there because I've travelled it many a times. So I think what I'll do is I'll head back to the van and see if they've come out onto the open pastures, and if not, I can kind of rule this section out. They're so elusive. So that's how it goes. So tomorrow we'll go over to that side of the woods, and if that fails, I'll go out onto the moor, and the moor is guaranteed they'll be there, because I say it's the rutting season. So if they're going to be anywhere, they're going to be there, but they're just there in the open. So we just checked this bit of a mud puddle, and all I can see is boot marks and paw prints. So I've not seen a single drop in, a single footprint, and the ground's pretty soft. So I'm pretty certain that they're not here. I was retracing my steps and going across the top of the forest back to the van, see if they've come out into the pasture just before sunset. I thought I'd spotted something, but it just shows you how light, well, not the light, the forest just plays tricks on your eyes. It's just brown leaves on the trees, but from a distance it looked like it was a herd of stags. The cows are taking an interest in me as long as I stay over there. So yeah, we'll carry on back down into the woods and see if there's anything down there. So I'm just going to try one more section and see if we can find anything down there. If not, I'll reverse back and then go along the same route, but on the top part of the forest. It seems pretty unlikely that I'm going to get anything today. They're looking for some telltale signs here in the mud. It's just boots and dog paw prints. So I've found them. I was just on the way back to the van. I came a different way back, so it's quite lucky. They are out in the open pasture. I've got a doe with like a yearling, and then there's a stag not far behind. I'm just going to have a look over this wall. They're in the field with some cows. They don't really mix with domesticated animals, although they're quite a way away from where they are. But I'm just going to have a better look and see what we can find. So at the moment I've got three. I've got two does, a young doe, his mum, and a stag. So we'll have a look. So here you go. You see the tree? Let me see if I can get my finger. The tree there, and then just here, top of my finger, is the mum and a young yearling. And let me see if I can get the stag. I've seen the stag sat in the bracken. You can just see his antlers. Just before I take you to the stags, and I've found there's probably a group of stags, and I've also found now a group of doe. just here. I'm on the camera on the mobile phone, so it's not that great. So here we've got 3 stags to the tree. If I can get my finger in, that's going to be to the tree. There's one on its own, and then there's 2 sat. Let me come out and see if my finger can. So if you look at the tree, just to the top left of the tree is a stag. They're both sat down, and then where the line of the bracken is, get my finger back up. So what I'm doing is I'm just moving through this field, keeping well away from them. They'll be able to see me, they'll be able to see that I'm not a threat. I'm not going to go anywhere near them, but we'll just see if we can get a better angle before the light drops. So this is the closest I'm going to get to them. I did have a little bellow. The birds still sat down. Let's see if I can find them. Where are you? Let me try and find it and focus in a bit better. So I'm going to leave it there for today. The light's almost gone. I'm not going to get any closer, especially during rutting. They're obviously quite sensitive. But at least after all that, I've been walking around. I've done 4 kilometres in 2 hours, and it wasn't until the last 30 minutes that I found them. So at least I know that they're here and not on the moor, or there's a few here. There's definitely. I'll go to another location tomorrow, do an early sunrise, and see what we can find there. So yeah, thanks for watching this part, and we'll see you in the next episode.